Marriage can be hard. In fact, really hard.
But it's not that hard.
What if you could go back to the beginning? I wish there were times when we could go back to the beginning and people would have shared with us what it is that makes a successful marriage, what makes marriage livable and free and enjoyable. And I wish people early on would have given us that little tip that would have given us that kind of head start. So hopefully today, what we're planning on doing, my wife and I, Bethany, we've been married for 21 years. We have 3 kids. We are actually, for most of our lives, been in ministry together. I'm the senior pastor here at Refuge Calvary Chapel in Huntington Beach. And so much of what we do together is based on a healthy, vibrant marriage. And again, today, what we're hoping to do is give you some tips on what you can do to make your marriage healthy and vibrant.
So I think one of the first things that was really foundational for us was, and I know a lot of people have done this, but knowing your love language.
Yes.
Because very early on, that was a huge struggle for us because I didn't know that my top love language was touch, and I didn't know that his absolute last love language was touch. And so what I was getting from him was what I felt was lack of love. You don't think I'm attractive anymore. You don't love me anymore because you're not being affectionate with me.
We went through so many unnecessary arguments and fights because we did not understand that about each other. That there was a natural way that God had designed each of us and that we had grown up in different homes that expressed love differently.
Mine was affectionate. Yours was time. Your
and
number
listening.
one is time and listening. And
we didn't understand that. And that would have been groundbreaking had someone come to us and said, hey, let me share with you about these love languages.
Yeah. Which I don't know who introduced us to it, but we read the book and thank you, Gary Chapman.
And one of the premises of that love language is that you will deplete your love towards each other, or your love towards each other depletes almost like a bank running out of money.
Yeah.
And if you want to fill up that bank, the love of your spouse, then do this one thing over and over again, and it will fill them up.
And recognizing that the way that you feel loved, like for me, affection makes me feel loved, is usually the way that you will give love. So to him, I'm showing affection, but to him, he's like, that's fine, but for me, if you will sit and listen to me and give me time, directed time, that's how I feel loved. And so,
and it's so interesting when we walk around the block together, when we go out to eat together, and I'm able to talk and express and talk and express. There's something that opens up inside of me that allows me to feel that love. And for her, it's if we're sitting together on a couch and I put my arm on her knee or around her shoulders. Sometimes she self-guides that. Well, she literally takes my arm and puts it on her leg because there's something void in my life with that.
And don't be afraid to do that, to say, I need affection from you right now. I need you to listen. This
was one of those key points that early on, I believe, in our marriage, had we figured this out and understood what it was that she needed, and me being able to learn and function in a way that would give her what she needed, we'd have fought way less than we did.
For sure, the first year, for sure.
Yes. So love, according to Gary Chapman in his book, 5 Love Languages, is like a bank. And oftentimes, we're thinking that we're demonstrating love that's filling our partner's, our spouse's bank, and it's not filling it at all.
Because it fills us, but it doesn't fill them.
Right. And there's this one love language, according to the book, that will fill up your spouse's love language quicker and more often. If you can just figure out what is that love language, as we talked about, Bethany's certainly is touch. It's the one thing that fills her love bank more than anything else. And for me, it's listening and time, spending time with me fills up that love bank for me. It demonstrates her love for me. And even though she may want to give me gifts and acts of service, and I love those things, but they don't speak to me the same way that listening and time speak to me.
And it is an act of self-sacrifice, too, to give someone a love language that isn't natural for you to give. Because for me to stop what I was doing and to look at you, to what you wanted to tell me, instead of continuing to do what I was doing was self-sacrificial to me. And touch for you is self-sacrificial for
Which
you.
just feels so weird.
Which felt weird to me.
Yes.
How can you not have my love language? But understanding we're just different.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
Just different.
Second thing that I think we have really benefited from in our marriage over the years, and again, back to like, man, why wouldn't somebody have told us this at the very beginning? Like, so many things would have been figured out. And it wasn't until, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years into marriage where we saw Dr. Emerson Eggerichs' Love and Respect. And we went through that with a group of people. And since then, we've gone through with many groups of people. And the premise is the idea that what you desire more than anything else is my love. As a woman, is my love as a wife. And what I need from you is respect. And not that the wife doesn't need respect or the man or the husband doesn't need love, but the primary language that is being spoken to you from me needs to be that of love. And for me, it's that idea of respect. And over the years, I think that's one of the things you've really tried to press into a little bit, was this idea of like, he needs to know that I respect him. And in different ways that you've done that over the years.
Yeah. And the idea that he gives is when a woman shows respect to her husband, he will respond to her with love. Then she'll respond to him with respect. He'll respond to her with love. And you have the energizing cycle, or you have the crazy cycle that if you show him disrespect, he'll respond unlovingly, and then she'll respond with disrespectful. And you get on the crazy cycle. And he says, one of you has to decide who is the most mature person, because that is a person who will just jump off the crazy cycle. Like, we're not doing this anymore. I will self-sacrifice again and just decide I will show respect even though I have felt unloved, sort of thing. Yeah. But I think one of the big things that for us with that book, Love and Respect, that he talked about was remembering that your spouse is a well-meaning individual, that they are not disrespecting you on purpose, or they're not trying to make you angry.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to come off as unloving, even though maybe my demeanor, my words, my actions are coming off as unloving. But that's not what I'm waking up in the morning trying to be. I'm not trying to wake up, and more than likely your husband or your spouse is not trying to wake up in the morning and be unloving towards you. Even though you may think they are, they're not. Then that's the idea.
And it kind of can come back to the 5 love languages, because if I look at Geoff and say he is purposely not showing me affection, even though he knows that's my love language, instead of being like, I know he loves me, he is a well-meaning person, I choose to believe that, and then you don't get on the crazy cycle.
And you cut your spouse some slack. In those moments. And what that ends up doing overall, and I would say the other side of that too, is that one of the things you became really good at is telling me when I did something right and encouraging me to do more of it. And by doing that, you're demonstrating respect towards me, because I know I'm not great at doing that. And yet you would say, hey, thank you, honey, for doing this. And it really felt to me like, oh, you're respecting me, even though I'm not, deserving of that respect, and yet opening that door of grace and mercy and love towards your spouse is huge. And you won't always feel like doing it. You just won't. He makes that suggestion that this could take time in your marriage, and I think it took time for us to learn that principle of love and respect. I would just say that this idea of love and respect, it takes time. It's with anything else that's good in your life. Most often doesn't happen overnight. It's not something you snap your fingers and it's already done. It's something you kind of grow and learn. And the idea of learning to love your spouse or learning to respect your spouse, and he makes the suggestion even that sometimes even when they don't deserve it, it will be something that will take time. And so it's something that every day you have to keep coming back to and putting into practice. So even when he is unloving or she is disrespectful, in those moments, you want to return that with love or with respect and begin to break down, as Bethany said, that crazy cycle. I would say just in general, the idea over time was that you would just continue to be respectful by saying, hey, thank you, honey, for picking up the kids, or thanks for doing the dishes, or thanks for thanks for going to work. Thanks for putting in the time. Like, you've always been good at that, in growing in that area of demonstrating respect. Those are obviously things that a husband should do anyways, but to be thanked for it and to be able to receive that as something that you've given to me is, I think, been really helpful over time. It makes me want to do it more. I always tease people, like, when you have a kid who needs to do something more, the more you praise them for it, the more they grow in it. And so I feel like in some ways I'm the kid who just needs that encouragement today. Hey, keep doing that. And so I'd say if you're in a difficult marriage and you're not getting what you need from your spouse, one of the ways that, instead of yelling and nagging and being frustrated at, maybe you lovingly lead them into doing those things that you need from them.
Yeah. I remember hearing David Ann Wilson on Family Life talking about how, like, really being your husband's cheerleader, because they, in their workplace, like Dave talked about, like, he was used to, like, people really being proud of the things that he did in his work and things like that. And then he'd get home and it was just like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And it's like, outside the home, he's cheered on, and then he comes home to be, berated. And so I think that's a big thing, for lack of a better word, just being a cheerleader for each other, really, because we should be our number one supporters.
Yeah, and the cheerleading, more often than not, will look different for both of us. You need me to come home and demonstrate love to you by the way that I touch, hold, hug, kiss. And my mind naturally is in work and all the things that happened that day. But my pivot is, I need to come home and demonstrate that you're important and that I love you.
And I would say, if you are stuck, you feel stuck maybe in your marriage, you can do these things that we've talked about, practicing love and respect and learning your love languages and things like that. But at the end of the day, it really is a reliance on God's Spirit, the very same Spirit that spoke through the mouth of Jesus, the very same Spirit who moved the waters is the same Spirit that lives inside of us. And so I know, for me, knowing Geoff's love languages, knowing my love languages, practicing love and respect, there are times where it feels like, why are we still here? Like, this will never change. This will never change.
We haven't moved off of this thing.
Right. Like, we keep coming back to this same thing. And for me, it came to a point where I remember we were on a trip together, and I don't even know that I've even told you this. But
now's the time.
surprise. But we were on a trip together for an anniversary, and something hit me where I was like praying for a specific thing. Because in our lives, we have 3 kids, life is very busy. And so there are times where it can feel like we're not seeing each other, like he's not just seeing me. And I just kind of was like, I give up on this. Like, it'll have to happen later in our lives for us to see each other,
and
sort
seeing,
of thing. Just like, see me. I want to feel like you see me.
Not just time.
Not just time, but
like we're around each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was in my Bible study, and in Matthew, I came across that verse where it says, keep on seeking, keep on knocking. And so I said, you know what, Lord, I asked for this again. I asked for this again. Yeah. And you and I went snorkeling, and I was kind of behind him, and he popped out of the water and he said, I need you to be up here so I can see you. And I was just floored. Like, I don't think I ever told you that. But it was a really big thing of recognizing that the Lord is in the center of everything. Yeah. And we continued to call out to the Lord and say, Lord, you know my heart, and you know this marriage. You know what we need and what we don't need. And so, God, I come to you again. I come to you humbly, and this is something I feel like I need. And that was just a sweet answer. Yeah. And just recognizing that the Lord is in the center of all of it. He wants to bless us. Yeah. He wants us to magnify him through our marriage. So
yeah. And the thing about that is, I didn't know that you were walking through that. And I think that's to the point of what we're talking about when we talk about the Spirit at work. No. It wasn't something like the Lord revealed to me and said, say these words, I see you. Yeah. Right? It wasn't that. It was the Lord working through ignorant me and working into you and sharing with you that. And I think the other thing that would be encouraging about that is, if I'm not mistaken, that was not too long ago, and we've been married 21 years. So here we are 21 years in, and we're still working on our marriage, and the Lord is still at work, and the Spirit is still working in and through us. And I would say this, when we've seen marriage changes, it's been the work of the Lord. We've done, I don't know, so many marriage classes over the years where we've run marriage classes, and we're not the experts on marriage necessarily. We just show a video and then we have discussion and group time. Yeah. And in those classes, when a life or a marriage changes, it primarily is not because of the material that's being shown. It's the work of the Lord through that material. And I think that's been a testimony to the Spirit at work inside of marriages. Yeah.
And I would say, for women, I don't know if this is with husbands as well, but I feel like it's so important that you don't expect your husband to fill needs in you that only your Heavenly Father can fill. And so that experience with us on our trip was really the Lord filling a need in me through Geoff, using Geoff to fill that need that he essentially filled. So,
and
because
it's true.
you can't. Yeah.
True of husbands too. Husbands could be relying on their wives to fill all those needs, and then they get frustrated because they're not. And the reality is, the husband needs to be looking to the Lord primarily to fulfill those needs, and then see what He does through his wife.
Yeah. And I would say something else that has been really, really impactful is our friend and counselor Bill Ferris. He talks about in your marriage borrowing from the future. In the sense of picture what you want your family or your marriage picture to look like in 5 years, in 2 years, in 1 year. And so he tells a story of someone he was counseling, and they were done. I can't do this anymore. And he said, I want you to borrow from the future. What do you want your family picture to look like in, I think it was 1 year, maybe it was 5 years, whatever it was. And that many years later, that family sent him a picture of all of them at their daughter's college graduation, I think it was. And they were together, and he said, thank you for like challenging me to ask myself, what do I want my family picture to look like? And work towards that. Don't give up. If you want that picture to be all of you together, supporting each other, being there for each other, then keep going.
Yeah, and it's so easy to give up because of the moment. It feels like it's too big. But in that moment, borrowing from the future and really putting that mental image together of what you want it to look like, and holding on to it tightly in those moments where it feels like, I just want to give up. This is too hard. I don't want to do it. But you look forward to that future moment. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Thanks Bill.
And that is totally true. We have been so blessed here at Refuge to have a marriage and family therapist named Bill Ferris, who has met with many people here at Refuge. And it is one of those things that if you're struggling in marriage, and someone could be a third party that speaks into your marriage, and third party be husband, spouse, and Bill, and then obviously the work of the Spirit through that person, I would say do it.
Seeking godly counsel.
Seeking godly counsel. Well, hey, this was fun to get to talk to people about marriage, something that we have near and dear to our hearts over the years. We've been pro-marriage, fighting for people's marriages with them. And I think just a brief kind of recap of what we talked about would be helpful. So starting with number one was?
So I would say the first one is find out what your spouse's love language is. So if you need to go check out the book, listen to the book.
I think there's free online resources.
I'm sure there are. Just look up the 5 love languages and you'll figure it out. But find out what your spouse's is so that you can verbalize to them, this is how I receive love, and you can find out how you can show love to them.
And the second one was love and respect. And that's been such a big part of our marriage. And that one thought of he or she is well-meaning, well-intentioned, and just being able to say, hey, that wasn't on purpose. That you did not say that. You did not do that on purpose. No. I want to give you that grace and extend that mercy to you.
No. And the third one is relying on the Spirit. And first and foremost, it has to be a surrender of your life to the Lord, to Jesus, and receive His Spirit, and just daily surrendering your life and saying, Lord, I want you to speak to me through your word, through your Spirit, and help me just to walk in the Spirit, not the flesh.
Yeah. So here's the homework assignment this week. Sometime discover your love languages with your spouse. Figure out what it is, or even if you're in the dating phase or you're in the engaged stage, figure out what is your love languages, and then don't just sit with that information. Put it into practice. Actually practice that love language, and then communicate with each other. How did that feel when I did that thing that is your love language? And have that conversation. That's your homework. Make sure you put it into practice. And with that, hey, thanks for taking the time to watch this on marriage. We're again, so in love with marriage. We want to see healthy marriages. And if you have any comments or you'd like to hear something about marriage, then leave a comment below. Also, we're here. We're at Refuge Calvary Chapel in Huntington Beach, and we'd love to hear from you.
God bless you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.